Come on. Anyone? But ask a little bit since I set so I get a bit more space. I've thought of something with the thing that I got for it. Hasn't arrived yet. What I'm gonna do is I'm basically to have a towel bar attached to the wall with command hook. I think I might be able to that. And since it would be attached to the wall, even if I bump into the table, the camera shouldn't wobble. But I haven't received it yet. Sorry. I had the grand, aka terrible, dumplings with dumpling sauce, and I forgot that the dumpling sauce very, very garlic right now. Hopefully it settles quickly, but oof. The office freaking cute. Snack. And but chart, ball in front. I think I'm gonna would be more. You don't really see, but faint and been in such a it was really liking this mixture. What color? Does that? I set it up on manual focus, and then the camera sort of decides to go blurry randomly. What are you doing? Curious, hello! Let me know if you can hear and see. About to type it in chat. If it's not working, reply to me. This is the little February paper calendar. Finish because I mean, trying to decide. Gosh, very very faint blue. Technically, it's gonna I want it and fix the again and barely visible. That is threads. Not really gonna do much. And a little. It's gonna be such a faint color. it's better. I think this is better. I will yap. Blah, 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 blah. And maybe you'll be able to tell me if that's better or not. I don't know why my microphone does that. It like I don't do anything with it. And then it just works out. It gets all wonky. And like the only way I can fix it is to unplug it and plug it back in, which is silly. I have Earl Grey tea, black tea today. I'm kind of sad that I'm almost out of my chai tea. I mean, I can order some more for sure, but there's like always a risk that what if they're out of stock, you know? What if this is the really last of the chai tea I can get for a while? Oh, you can hear me. Okay, fixed it. Yay. Oh, that's such a silly bug. I don't know why. Okay, so what I was saying about the blue is that I wanted to have a very faint, very light blue color in this lower part of the image. On my references, the one that I'm following, it is kind of very light, almost white, but it's because it's reflecting the light of the sky, and as you can see here, the sky is kind of white, but I don't want to leave it to the white of the paper, so I opted to put a very light wash of like a blue-gray color. This is Misty Morning and Blue Sky mixed together, just to give it a bit of a little bit of body. Nothing is being pulled forward. Okay. Now I'm kind of stuck though because I again gotta wait for stuff to dry before I can keep on painting. It's the curse of watercolor. You're always waiting for stuff to dry and dry and dry, and it's like, oh my gosh. I'm almost done with the January painting that I'm doing for the review of the Paul Rubens Ocean set. It's not the most successful painting, but it was really interesting to do anyway, and I kind of tried something with the sky, so I'm glad I did. And yeah, it's just, I'm just like generally bored of the way I paint. But I don't know what to do to make it more fun, or I don't know what to change about it, or I don't know, I don't even know what I want to do with it, so kind of stuck. But yeah, it's just this, ugh. It's like, it's a bit too methodical, and it's always kind of the same approach, and I'm like, is it interesting in any way? And is it interesting for me as well in any way? And I don't know. Patience! Hello, Auntie Patience, how are you? Hi, Curious, how are you? Oh my gosh, I have the food drink fear too. What if this is the last time ever? Here is the Barbara Puffin sir. Oh, what flavor? Do they have flavors, or are those necessarily like peanut butter? It has happened too often in my life that I would rely on something and then it would change or disappear without any notice, and it's very difficult to trust anything afterwards. Like, it's always a hassle for me to find a moisturizing cream, and I have my skin is a mess. But I found this one like lotion that I like, and it's unscented, and it's not like doesn't feel icky. It's nice, and I went to buy a like a not a refill because I'm not quite done, but I went to buy a backup. And I noticed that the label was a bit different. So I was like, And I read the ingredients, and the formula is entirely different. And now they've added a bunch of stuff in it that I'm reactive to. So I'm like, hey, thank you. And it's not written like a new formula or anything on the front of the packaging. Like the only clue that I had was that the some part of the label was now a bit more metallic as opposed to a flat color. And I was like, you know what? I don't trust it. How you handle the dark foreground and thank you. Achoo! The kitty cat sneezed. Achoo! Yeah, that's one thing. And then food is always like they always change stuff up or discontinue the flavors. Cat food has been really notorious for that. Like if you have a pet with specific diets, they always like discontinue like the thing that you get, and then you have to find a substitute. And then at some point you're gonna discontinue that too, and then you have to find another substitute. They need to do better. Way too many people have allergies for that to be okay. Same with food and the personal. Yeah, absolutely. Like for most of the skincare products, I really don't understand why a lot of these are made with perfume in it. Because perfume exists. So you could get a skincare item, like everything skincare could be unscented. And if you want to smell good or whatever, you go to a product that is meant for that instead of having like perfumes and smells and everything. And then if you have like a two or three items with smells in your routine, like this combined with deodorant, combined with whatever, and like no wonder people have allergies. It is utterly unbearable. And they don't always indicate it clearly. Like I've been burned a couple of times where something will be described as having a light scent, and I put my nose in it, and it's like super strong perfume, and I'm like the what? So yeah, that's my big beef with these things. It's because if you have sensitivities or allergies or whatever, you're always the one who gets burnt in the end because either you lapse and you forget to make sure there's no scent to a thing, or you just reach out for the usual thing, but they changed it without making it obvious that they changed it, and now you're out of pocket for like anywhere from $10 to $30, and you're stuck with this product that is unusable. I hate it. Yes, just stop with the perfumes. Yeah, seriously. Like perfume on its own exists. It's there. How about just having like everything unscented, and then if you want to smell of something specific, you add perfume as the last final touch. I don't get it. I don't like it. Even like something like baby powder. Like you cannot even find unscented baby powder anymore. And it's something that is quite handy. Nowadays they make it mostly with cornstarch instead of talc. So it's a bit safer, but even then, like, why is it scented? Like, what if you use it for because it's so hot in the summer and you don't want to have like chafing. You use, like baby powder as a solution, but it's like they make it like absolutely unusable. Well, I mean, not absolutely, but they make it really awkward for men to use baby powder because have you seen the smell of that thing? Or rather, have you smelled the smell of that thing? Like if it's marketed as a scented body lotion, but it's so hard to find shampoo unscented, just mildly. Yeah, seriously. I it's hard, and then when you find something, you want to stick with it, and then it's gonna change or be unavailable or cost you 3 times the price of the bar of soap next to it, but that's scented. I suspect that in some cases the unscented version of things smells kind of icky and they're trying to cover it up. I think I agree with you. That's something that had crossed my mind too. The fact that the smells, the perfumes are possibly there to cover something else. But then again, if your product is stinky, fix it. you know, why is it stinky? What did you put in there to make it stink? Like, what are we doing? Yeah, I managed to find like my shampoo is not unscented, but it's not a very strong scent. It's basically just a bit of lavender, I think. Then hair product is a light scent of coconut, and my deodorant is spice scented. But for everything else, I've managed to find like unscented versions of stuff. But yeah, like I went to the drugstore just before the stream, and I walked by the aisle where there is the lotion that I liked, and I saw that they had a couple of the older design bottles in the back of the row. So I looked at the ingredients, and it's the previous formula. So I grabbed all the bottles they had and hauled them home. I have the same type of problems with food ingredients, which is why I have so much anxiety about them. I really rely on those foods. Is it stinky? Do you have like food sensitivities, or is it like straight up allergies, or just like what's the nature of the things that bother you about the food? I have issues with dairy, so it's not the worst, but it's not the easiest to avoid either. And it's like dairy protein mostly, so it's a bit tricky because if something has like butter but no other dairy products, it's gonna be easier for me to deal with it than if it has like no butter but a lot of whey protein or whey powder in it. Heck yeah, you gotta hoard the good stuff. It's like it works, it works. Ah. Like I've been using the same shampoo for years and years and the same hair product, the one hair product for years and years. If these change or get discontinued, I don't know what I'm gonna do. And the shampoo, this is the second one. I used to go for another one, but that one was changed. So I had to find another one, and I found one, and I'm like, please, please, please don't change. MCAS. Low histamine. Oh no. Gluten free is already difficult. I don't know what low histamines implies, but it doesn't sound like it would help with the gluten free stuff. What does MCAS stands for? Doop, doop. I'm trying to find what I can do while paint is drying again. We could do something with this one. Sorry. Sorry for the old people noises. Okay, this one is a bit tough to open. So first, last cell activation. Ooh, a brand that does have scent, but I'm largely able to use a cure. I've never heard of it. What did they do? Sorry. I swear I'm an adult. I swear. Cell activation. That doesn't sound like a picnic. Trying to look it up, but it's not letting me. Google. Oh shit, that's. Sorry. With my French, that sounds dreadful. Oh, I'm sorry you have to deal with that. That's. My BFF in Alaska has. Yeah, seriously. I'll look it up. I'll definitely open a tab. Okay, I'm back, sorry. Yeah, I just opened a tab so I can remember to look it up later. It's not eczema per se. I've tried to get a diagnosis from a dermatologist, but the only one that I've managed to see, I wanted to like shove her head in the wall. It went that well. And so I don't really know what it is, but I think it's something a bit like keratosis pilaris. It's basically like you don't shed your dead skin cells properly, so they stay on the skin, and it can cause a lot of like issues with the pores and whatnot, and it's kind of annoying. It's not, it's not the worst. I tend to have really dry skin, but that's just, I think that's just on account of having like very very light skin, like a, what did they call it? Like it's a Fitzpatrick type something, whatever. Like it's the redhead skin that like just you look at the sun and that's it. You're burnt. Like you don't even have any options to survive being exposed to the sun. So I think it's just the nature of the skin and perhaps the water here. I wonder if the super hard water perhaps contributes to this issue. So it's not eczema per se. I'm not as miserable as someone with eczema because let me tell you, when I see people have what's the word I'm looking for? Not relapse, but flare up. When they have eczema flare ups, oh my gosh, it looks so painful. It's like having super dry skin times 100. And it makes me so sad because I'm like, oh my gosh, that's gotta be so painful. Thanks, guys. Yeah. Yeah, it's just, it's annoying. It's one of those things that's just like, it's the summer and you want to wear short sleeves and you're like super self-conscious of your arms looking like terrible. And then I'm like filming videos and I'm like, oh, my hands also look terrible. Everything looks terrible. I'm like, I'm sorry. But yeah. So what do you want to do? That reminds me, there's something I wanted to perhaps ask you guys about, out of curiosity, but have you ever managed to successfully change habits? And if so, do you remember what helped you? I'm really struggling with some habits that I would love to be able to change, but that so far I haven't been able to. And perhaps there's no like, there's nothing that will actually help me as much as just, doing the thing. But still, I'm curious because I feel like sometimes it's so easy to get trapped in one's head, like rolling over the same facts and rummaging the same stuff over and over again, that it's helpful to speak to other people at times and get different perspectives on stuff. Okay, you guys remember when we put these all the Holbein in the pans? Well, I think I'm gonna see about how I can take these off, maybe label them, and then put the Holbein paints in. Because of course these are not labeled. And then if my painting gets dry enough, I can go back to it. And you know how that goes. So this is Meaden. Orange yellow color for 301. And it's PY1 and PO13. Okay, here. Okay, good. Starting habit. What needs? That's a very good point. That's a very good point you bring up. I think a lot of my bad habits are sort of coping mechanisms that have just, accumulated so much momentum that I find it very difficult to start like slowing that momentum and reversing it and then getting some traction towards a different. I'm getting pinged on everything. PW6, PR170, PBK7. Also really rough brain or I that's the thing though, is like something, let's say my eating habits are leave a lot to be desired, and that's definitely something I could improve on, and that would have a lot of like positive impacts on the rest of my health and all sorts of stuff. But it's like being aware of this and yet still being unable to, not unable, but like it's like I should be able to do something about it, and I struggle a lot with it, just about as much as I'm struggling with this stupid pan. Okay, that's not working. And I just don't like, I know what I should be doing, but it's very difficult to do the thing, and I there's no reason really why it should be difficult. Like, Like I immediately go to I must not want it enough. Like if I wanted it enough, I'd find the I don't know. I don't want to say willpower because I hate that. I wrote the wrong thing in the wrong place. Good job, me. Yeah, I'm doing great. Good job. Okay, so this and this one goes here, I guess. This burnt umber is 3 pigments. So I just said, it's 3 pigments, and usually this kind of color, the burnt umbers, the burnt siennas, they tend to be a brown iron oxide. And for this color that is supposed to be a single brown iron oxide, so a PBR something, they've used a red iron oxide, a yellow iron oxide, and a black pigment. Everything but the brown pigment. Same here, that's why I asked it. You're speaking to me in the instant. Yeah, I feel like this is a really common struggle, and it's also a very difficult one to sort of parse because it's so prevalent in terms of like perhaps a vague goal that people want to achieve, like lose weight, be healthier, eat better. And it's always like, not that it's a bad thing, but there's really tangible effects that would come of that. Like, it would be really great to go to bed at night and not feel awful. That kind of stuff. That's pretty simple and straightforward. And, that pretty much like everybody would understand that. And it's like, why do I keep making it extra hard for me to just do the thing? And I don't know. I just don't know. And then you start thinking, and then you start overthinking, and then it never ends. And all your energy is now gone because you've thought about it too much, why? And it's difficult, I feel like it's very difficult to find guidance and help about this kind of stuff because if you turn to online, you're gonna get every possible advice there is out there. Like one way, the opposite way, 3 times. Like some people will say, "Oh, you have to do this," and you're like, "Okay, I have to do this," and then you turn around and somebody will say the exact opposite, and so you're kind of left with this situation where you're like, "Okay, but there's no good or bad solution, I guess. But what can I do?" And then someone's going to be extra charismatic and is going to sell you a particular way of doing things, and then you're going to try it and it's not necessarily going to work, and it's just, oh, it's so much. And every time you try it and it kind of doesn't really work like it like you expected it to, that diminishes your sort of ability to embark on a different journey with the same goal, like all this stuff. And then you wake up and you're like 40 something and you're like, yep, I haven't figured it out either. And it's been like 15 years of me trying. Awesome. And then the shoulding leads to, oh yeah, and you're demoralized and stuff and other thing. Yeah, yep. Oh, I should really eat this. And that's kind of what also comes as a result of trying to find information about this stuff. Is it's really easy to stumble upon influencer or people who are trying to sell you something. And basically, if you look at their content, you're basically setting yourself up for a new series of should or should not. Like, oh, I shouldn't be eating this. I should be doing this instead. I should be doing that. But the thing is if it's all stuff that you don't like to do, you'll be able to do it for a brief period of time, and then you're just gonna fizz out. Like it's not gonna be sustainable. And chances are you're gonna bounce back in the opposite direction much more strongly. So I'm gonna grab some tape. Because maybe I can use the tape to remove the pens. Most neurotypical advice doesn't work for me and often just makes me feel myself. I think that's software, so yeah, that's a good way to put it. Pretty something. Yes, it's like you I was okay, so a bit of context. Have you guys watched the show The Pit? It is a sort of a procedural show that doesn't work either. That is set in a hospital, and if you are of a similar age than I am, you might remember ER, the series that was also sort of a quote unquote not procedural per se, but that was like really set in the emergency room of a hospital back in the 90s. And The Pit is sort of the like the quote unquote sort of reboot of ER. It's a very similar setting, but also quite different, and it's really quite good. And the main actor is an actor that was in ER as well. So I don't know. I'll check if you guys have. Let me know if you've seen The Pit. And no spoilers about season 2. I haven't watched it yet. I'll be right back. I'll go grab something in another room. Back. I also have my sweater. Watch The Pit. Changing computers back in a bit. Okay. Okay, so basically, Dr. Mike on YouTube had an interview with the main actor from The Pit, which is not a doctor, but has played quite a few doctors in his career. And they were discussing like elements of the first season, and at some point, they discuss a particular case, and they say something that I thought was particularly relevant, in the sense that there's a specific patient at some point that presents a sort of a moral situation. And ultimately, what I want to get to is that it's basically that you have a baseline as a human being, and the older you get, the more difficult or impossible is it to get back to that specific baseline if you happen to lose it. Whether it's from being sick or being out of shape or whatever. And I kind of feel like I'm not helping my general baseline by being the way I am, but it's such a struggle to do anything about it. And yeah, that's basically the situation. It's like I know what I should do. I know what I should go for. I know all this stuff, but at the same time, I'm making so much resistance for myself that I haven't been able to do anything. And then the more it's a struggle, the more you sort of you get sort of harder on yourself again, and it's just it's so difficult. It's so unproductive, and it's like sometimes a lot of the I'm looking for words a lot today. A lot of the reference point, like when you see someone who is successful at this thing that you're trying to do, it's very easy to forget about their specific set of circumstances. And that can be a bunch of things, varying. Like it can be, like, you know, when you see some fitness influencer and they're super in shape and they share their routine and all of that. And it's kind of really easy to forget that that's their whole life. All they do all day long, all week long, is, you know, get fit to promote their fitness stuff so they can make money from it. And it's not a situation that is within reach for 95% of the population. People have jobs, have kids, have, you know, things they gotta do, a bunch of people they gotta care for. Like it's not relatable actually. They do their best to make it look like it's relatable, but ultimately it's absolutely not. The thing about baseline is interesting and feels true. Yeah, seriously. And it's like, if this is my current baseline, and I'm only gonna lose from here. Well, I mean, it's definitely tempting to work towards improving that baseline so that whenever I get to a point where I start like losing some of it, because ultimately that's gonna happen, you know. No one lives forever, but like at least I'm gonna start from a better point, so these are impossible to take out. So yeah, that's one of the things like that. There's a lot of stuff that it's very difficult to dismiss, but it's like I don't really necessarily want to have my quality of life be like the degenerate like get worse all that much. Like if I can avoid it, I would prefer to keep it uh, in a sort of better place, but that requires a lot of work too. And it's like there's always something, right? You see these people who are like, oh, you just go to the gym. Like I don't think there's a word to express how much I hate going to the gym. And I did it. I for a while I went, and yeah, I lost weight, but that was all I did, and it's not sustainable. And you're like, okay, so if that doesn't work, how can I sort of iterate on that and figure something out that would work? Oh, it's just a freaking nightmare. Sorry, I'm perhaps not the most inspiring person today. I apologize. Not that I think I am on a regular basis, but anyway. Anyway. Oh my gosh, get out. Get out. Get out. Get out. I don't think it would fit, but I wish I could have like install ribbons under all of these so it's easier to remove pans in the future, but I don't think there's enough leeway for ribbon to be added. A great example about the so probably not telling you messy struggle parts. Yeah, spent a couple of weeks with her. That you I'm not sure. I'm not sure because I can't do it with the blue tack, or the tape doesn't work either, and I feel like if these doesn't work, I don't think I'm gonna get more traction from my finger in the paint. I think I would just end up with a finger full of paint and a pan still stuck in there. Perhaps if I wet the pan, put some sort of uh fabric or whatever paper there, get it like stuck there, let it dry, and that might be able to pull up the pan with the paper. But I'll try to remove those that I can, and then I'll see. It will give me a bit of time to think about how to go about it too. All right, whoo. Gonna get a sip of tea. YouTube's insert. Seriously. No, I appreciate your honesty. Things have been easy for you. What I'm here. Yeah, absolutely. That's really hard to do. I don't think that the internet has helped that in any way, because now there's a really easy platform for people to share just the best of their output. And if you consume the content, all you get is an overview of their best moments. And it's really easy to forget that it's an overview of their best moments, basically. And then, of course, we end up comparing ourselves to that, and it's just, oh. Sorry. Yep, exactly. I can get frustrated for you with these stuck pens. Have you considered turning the thing upside down? Oh, I will definitely try that. Once I've removed all of the ones that I can't, like, that I can remove, I'm gonna try that. Also, do you guys, does it keep sort of auto-focusing for you as well? I keep seeing the footage, like, slightly autofocus, and I'm like, why? You're not supposed to do that, okay? I've set it up so you don't do that. The frick. I think it's time to use a blunt force. Because no. Okay. Well, that says a lot. There's stuff that's on my desk that's falling, but not these pans. No, no, no. I'm gonna try the floor, but yeah. So maybe I'll just set up some paper towels or something. I guess. Okay, okay, good. Let me know if you notice anything, whether it's audio, video. It's very difficult for me to do the streaming part and to also check the feed, so I might be missing stuff. Yeah. Hey! I lost a few! No idea which ones these are, but... Ah, dang it. Come back. Oh, good grief. Now I have no idea which one these are, though. So, that's a different issue. Oh, one more. A few. I mean, one has become perhaps grabbable. Oh. Oh, yeah. I mean, it's completely fine to not necessarily look at the video, because it's not like I'm doing anything particularly interesting right now. It's a bit more of a podcast. An interactive podcast. That was a good idea. So these are the ones that are not... God. Nope. New podcast, Palette Balance. Oh, man. Yeah, I think it's time for a round the bajillion of violence. Get out! What about if I do? Damn it. Ugh! Haha! Like, I'm having an easier time scraping off bits of the plastic of the pans instead of like getting these out. I'm laughing. Come on. Oh, oh, oh. Oh, yeah. Okay, there's only 3 left. For sure I can take these out, right? For sure. Okay. Getting there. Oops. Dang it. Looks like intimidation worked. Hey, pumpkin! Pumpkin! Sorry, yeah, I was pretty dialed in, and I have 1 left to remove, but it's particularly like stuck in there, and I'm trying not to mess up the wood of the palette too much either. So, sorry. You guys have no idea how many swears I've kept to myself. Oh, this. It just say yeah, it worked. I was threatening the pan, and it became possible to remove it. It worked. Come on! There's only 1 left. So that's the Islander pan, I guess. There can be only one. Soon there will be none. Ah, bugger. Get out. Freak. Fudge. Yeah! Did it! Yes. I found pans that fit, and before you ask, yes, I tried them. I got the pans, and then I tried them in here, saw that they fit, and yeah, then I kind of replaced the OG pan after making sure that it fit, and put that project on the back burner. But then I found my old, not very old, but my Holbein paint blobs. There. Whew. Okay. Go there just. Oh, I'm gonna have to play a fun game of guess what's the color. Okay. This paint's gray, it goes there. That one goes here. Okay, so this is probably the cerulean blue. Ouch. So also, I really wish they had wooden palettes with one long indentation individual. I mean, that's the latest one that I reviewed. The Lightwish palette is like that. And I mentioned that too. Like, it has too bad that I just put it away, but it has like 4 sort of sections in the base, and they come with full pans in there, but you can remove these and put your own pans in there and half pans and whatever. And the bottom like section that's a bit larger, you can take full pans and you rotate them 90 degrees and they fit in the other way in there, so you could get even more colors in there. have that one actually. See, it's good. It's a good one. I really tried to ask what the Alchemist Journey? Is that their name? They're the one that have the 3D printed palette with the sort of ceramic sort of insert. I tried asking them about it, and they wouldn't share me their the info about what or how they make the ceramic part of it. All they said was that they have they're working with like separate companies for that stuff, but they didn't give me any more info about it. So I'm a bit bummed out about it. But this one is the Meaden palette. Pens are surprisingly yeah, they could. The Fumui palette, I saw Lindsay review them. They're beautiful. I saw another gorgeous wooden palette on the Rosemary & Co website. It is very pretty. We're getting so many nice wooden palettes. The clue was when you wrote meat on the pens, wasn't it? Possibly, but if you're not looking at the screen all that much, you might very easily miss it. And perhaps I didn't properly, like, perhaps I said the wrong name for it, or perhaps I didn't even say which one it was. I mentioned the Light Wish one in the beginning because I was sort of putting it back into its box, just so I can keep everything together. Okay, so I have all of these to figure out. Pretty sure this is the yellow-green. This is probably the olive. And mind you, these paints, they're not awful. They're quite decent. I have a couple of woodwork on my favorite. Ooh. It's not the magic word, it's the cursed word. I think, personally, I would prefer wood to rust. For sure, wood is organic, so I guess it can get moldy, but if you let it dry, it should be fine. Everything molds here, so I think of that before I think. What is rust if not metal mold? Am I right? And now I have these 6 that I have no idea what they are, though. Oops, sorry about that. Oops. Let's do a teeny tiny swatch test. So I'm pretty sure that this one is the light green. It's these. Quite convinced too that this one is gonna be the sort of mid-green, but like the phthalo green kind of color. So this one goes here. This goes like this. Okay. I have health issues around. Fair, very fair. As much as people are down on plastic. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Both with what Pumpkin says about plastic palettes, and also that you probably need to paint more. Curious, why not? Yeah, I don't. I think there's a for the rust factor. There's a lot of things to consider, such as if you have a lot of palettes, if you use it often, what kind of um, weather you have, and all of that. For me, it's I've had palette rust just a little bit, like the little bit here and there, which is enough to bother me. But I've also had them rust in the brackets that hold the paint where the paint would touch the metal. Therefore, the paint itself became sort of messed up with the rust. And that's the part that just has no right to be. The Chinese company Simi Art. Yeah, oh, I have to show you guys one. Where is it? Oh, I think it's here. Oh, it is. I thought about it because I think I got it from Simi Art, but it's a plastic palette like this. Okay, it doesn't. Okay, it clips well. I just had not clipped it. You will not be able to see which is a shame, but it has this very slightly pearlescent finish in this beautiful glossy plastic. Like that's, I'm sorry, but this is very pleasant. You know, that the tactile feel of good plastic, smooth and slightly shiny or like pearlescent. Oh, I love this one. And so it's plastic. It's a bit tough to open, maybe that's why I had left it. The plastic inside here, I mean, you can pop it up. I don't know if you can see, but there's an indent here, so you can pop off this area. And this flap, these are regular plastic. The plastic is not pearlescent. And then it's made with a metal bottom, so you can put the magnetic pan straight in there. How cool is this palette? And it's mostly plastic, and it's very pretty. Like there's a pink one and a white one, and they're both very slightly pearlescent like this. Ah, so pleasant. And there's a thumb ring. Not that the thumb rings are useful, but it is beautiful. I love it. Some really thoughtful design plastic palettes and pans. Fun. I agree with you 100%. It's kind of what I've always wanted the metal palettes to be like. Okay, so it is a bit tricky to open, mostly because I have the tip of my fingers are always messed up, so they make doing anything with strength or pressure very difficult, but it is really nice. And like I said, you can clip this out. I often use the screwdriver from a Swiss knife for this kind of maneuver because it just seems to be made for this. And so you can remove it. How freaking cool is that? Very easy to put back in. The pink one has the same kind of insert, so there's a white mixing area in the lid. The flap is also white, I think, for the pink one. I don't remember. But then, yeah, it's metal, so you're not burdened with brackets. You're not burdened with any metal that will technically touch the paint. And now you can find these, like Simi Art also sells the magnetic pans, and they don't budge. Love it. It is a bit expensive for the standards of platforms like Temu, but then again, expensive for such a platform is like $10. It's not really expensive, you know. And oh, it's like, I think I would have an empty one just to have as a fidget thing, so that I can like touch it when I get fidgety. Sorry. I've got it sitting in my AliExpress cart, and I'm waiting until I have enough free credit cards cash back. That's a really good idea. I hope you manage to grab it soon. I like those magnet pens that have small magnets. Yeah. I mean, there's no point in getting any other magnetic pan now that we have those with the magnet that is embedded in them. Seriously. Speaking of thumb rings, what is it with the thumb ring on the Rumpy palette? Yeah. Oh, but seriously, I love this one. It's so silly. It's such a selling point to me. Like, I remember whenever I agree that the thumb ring is kind of big, but I think it is the usual size for this type of palette. Oh no, it's bigger. Huh. Huh. I don't know. Perhaps Mr. Roman. Perhaps Roman has larger thumbs. But yeah, back when I would go in stores to buy stuff like clothing or whatnot, just go through the aisle, like touching every clothes, every piece of clothing, because sometimes something would look good and then you touch it and it's like an automatic ick, and the other way around too. Like you see something that doesn't look like nothing particular, but then you touch it and you're like, hold on, wait a second. I found a cashmere sweater that way last time I went thrifting. It was just like like touching up the the sweaters at the thrift store, and I came across that one and I was like, holy minute, what how is this so freaking soft? And I look like I find it and I grab it and it's cashmere, and I was like, oh, I see. Magnet. Oh, interesting, emotional pumpkin. I didn't know about that. Oh no, you didn't know about semi art. Auntie Patience. I'm sorry. They don't necessarily have like amazing things all the time, but they have a lot of really fun supplies, I gotta say. And sometimes you catch something that is perhaps a bit more of a dud, but it is still like really, really fun. Their magnet pans though are absolutely awesome. I think all the ones I have are from them, and I got I have a few of the colored ones too. You have pink, like teal and brown, I think. Just because it's fun. All right, sorry, that's done. The magnets are really strong. They're not kidding. Like I've shown you, like I flipped the palette upside down and shook it, and nothing budged. They're really, really good. My mom is horrified by the texture of my creed and the their brushes and also their Jenga palette. Ooh, what's a Jenga palette? Like they have pants are free. They're really amazing. I feel like the only issue with the magnet pans is finding a good box to put them in, which is why I was so uh uh I was so smitten when I saw this palette, because it has the feature that it's a plastic palette. It reminds me of the Schminke Academy plastic palette a bit, you know, and it's oh, it's so soft. It is so nice and soft in its general setting. And then when you look at the product picture and you see that the tray for the paints is just a metal sheet that's embedded in there, and you can combine it with the metal pans. I was like, oh, you know what? I am sold. You have no idea how sold I am. This is a lovely palette. I love it. It is so nice and soft. Okay, sorry. Okay. There's some of these pans that are not labeled because I haven't checked. Ah, fuck it. Sorry. Pardon my French. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. If I have questions about the colors, I know all of these are Holbein, so I can very easily cross-reference the paints themselves with the charts, and I can use that to replenish any pan should I feel a need to. And even if it was not the same color, if it compares to be about the same, like I don't think it's going to make much of a difference if it's not exactly the same color. There you go. How satisfying is that? Ta-da! Ow, 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 ow. Plastic tray. Oh. You're gonna have to send me a photo or something. I'm intrigued. Not that I need more palettes, mind you. I have a box full of empty palettes, but I don't know why. It's a thing. I'm like that with boxes as well. Doesn't fit. It's like a low middle, but that's still good. I'll take 18. That's good. Big deal. Ooh, what class are you playing? What's their paper like? Oh, I think it's mostly cellulose paper and it's serviceable, but I haven't used it all that much. How is this when I close it up? I think there might be some of the paint blobs that get in contact with the mixing area, but that's okay. Sorry. Okay. I'm looking for a drawing. Huh. I have a Bauhong postcard here. I think I might be able to set up swatches for the other paints. Post the link to that. Oh, awesome! Thank you. Wood Elf Druid of the Moon. Ooh, nice. Give me a sec. Okay. So this is a semi-art sketchbook I had issues with the paint in there, as you can see, like they had the weird paints that ghosted through the paper, just the blue. I think it was so full of dye that the dye seeped in. And this one is also terrible, but I did those swatches then. And I think it is really decent paper, really. Like it worked out well. Look at these swatches. It's quite nice. And this is their semi-art handbook watercolor pad, they say. 300 GSM, 24 sheets, medium coarse grain. I don't think it's cotton paper. It doesn't say, so it's probably not cotton paper, but it's a really nice texture, and it doesn't feel too cellulosey, you know. Yeah, I agree. The thing is I think we underestimate Chinese art supply brands. But a lot of it actually, I think, is just about the same as you would get here. Like it's white label stuff in a way. Oh shoot! Thanks this. What's 147 divided by 9? So it's about. Okay, so it's about 5. That's 49. And 49, 49. Each of these I will have to divide in 3. Okay, so okay. Oh, 16. Thank you so much. 16, awesome. Oh yeah. So 16 and 32 would be my. No, I'm dumb. 15, 16 is here. 32 is here. Right. Like they do some 100% cotton doing flash. Uh-oh. But yeah, I think this is just like like if you go for the very like quote unquote high level stuff like Arche, Fabriano, all that stuff, like okay, that's fancy pants that's made like in Italy and France possibly. But for a lot of the mid-range stuff, it's all made in China anyway. So I think that a lot of the uh, offerings we see from Simi Art and all of that, they're just like the same stuff, just uh, like local. And also, why why wouldn't they have like good locally made supplies? Like why not? Like we have we don't have anything in Canada, but the US has the brand that shall not be named, M. Graham, Da Vinci, and then in Europe you have quite a few excellent makers. And then all of that and then you get to Asia. And sure, Japan has quite a few, but I mean China is huge. So it's just weird that they wouldn't have anything. Like they have Mary's paints that I think are quite um like have quite a bit of history, but yeah, it's just silly that they wouldn't have anything good like locally. It's sort of a double-edged sword too. Speaking of texture, I can send out art paper for you. Yeah, Balhong paper is amazing. But people, not you guys because you guys know, but I know I have too many relatives or people in my vicinity that would see that it's made in China and just dismiss it straight up. And I'm like, wait. Have you tried it? You can't say anything until you've tried it. Like seriously. Uh, I personally really like Arche. It is my favorite paper. But I mean, it's completely fine if you don't like it. I have a kitty cat on my big pen. For me, I like the smell of this. It's sorry, gross. I got an email that my Jackson's order has reached the US. Wee! Parent Academy and Fumi's cotton paper. But yeah, what did you order? What did you order from Jackson's? Glad for the Bahong tip. I've just about reached my first. Oh man, the bee paper is really good, but it's so hard to find now. I thought it was fully back, but apparently not quite so. Ugh. Put my finger in it. Oh. Where is it? Ow. Sorry. I forgot to label this one. Let's talk about the art with palette moves. Ooh, I'll have to check that out. Right. There you go. That was it. Oh. Time to bust out the big eraser. Oh, it's gonna be wobbly a bit, so apologies. All right. Sorry. I need a different brush for this. I need a cheap brush. this perfect. Am I even more firm? Not really. Okay. Okay, that's better. I love Holbein paints so much. What a joy to paint with. Easy to re-wet, gorgeous colors, super easy to use. Oh. %, Holbein paints feel uniquely creative brush. Hey Melissa! Hello! And yeah, I agree. The Holbein paints are so easy to re-wet. They feel really nice and creamy, and then the color payoff is just amazing. I think the color order is perhaps a little bit off, but nothing that will really bother me when I'm painting. The most perfect indigo color ever. How beautiful is it? I think this is Manganese Blue Nova, and I really like it as well. Also, a very beautiful yellow ochre. This is one of my favorite yellow ochres. It is so nice. Everything is so nice. Everything is so nice. Is there burnt sienna? Oh, that's their pearline green, also very nice. Then I think it is neutral tint and pitch black. When I'm done swatching, I will be ending the stream. I wanted to at least finish that so you could see the colors. There we go. Like I said, for Holbein paints, I don't really need labels per se. I have quite a few swatch sheets of all their colors that I can reference if I need to know what a color is. And like I know what kind of colors these are. I know what to expect from them, so I don't necessarily need the color name and pigment info for these. Sit and stare at the swatch. Aren't they? Seriously. Oh man. Read on the Holbein yellow ochre green. I feel like the Holbein shadow green, it's PBK 31, so it's the one pigment for pearline green, but it's one of the pearline green that is the most green and the least gray that I've painted with personally. Oh, their neutral tint is amazing. It is the best color for night skies. It is just the right sort of base color for it. You can lean it one way or another, but on its own, it's super dark, super intense, has a really good tinting strength, a good, pigment load, and then you can add to it to create the effects you want. That looks reddish. What does? Oh, the neutral tint, I think it's just the camera. It is more bluish than reddish for sure. The colors look a bit better in person than they do on camera, so. And yet, this palette only has one green, but there's a significant number of options here to make greens. There's a lot of blue, a lot of blue. There's a muted yellow, there's other yellows, and even the yellow orange can be useful for that. And I don't feel like I would really, even if green paints are amongst my favorite, I'm often really bummed out by the pre-mixed greens in sets. And as it happens, the blobs that I had for this palette, that's what was there. But I'm not worried because I know I can mix a lot of green colors from these paints. I have a neutralish yellow, I have a magenta, and I know for sure that one of these two is a phthalo blue green shade, so sort of a cyan color, but I feel like this manganese hue could also work, even if it's more green. And then there's a couple of fun colors in there, like a opera. This sort of bright violet color is also a bit fluorescent. So these are fun in mixes, even if they're not light fast. I agree about vermilion. I really, 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 really love the vermilion hue. I'm not that sold on shell pink, just because it's not the kind of color that I go to unless I have a specific need. They have a lot of tints in their range, like a pigment mixed with white, which is really practical and useful. But with watercolor, it really depends on what effect you want to achieve. So you might want that specific color, that specific tint for the needs of your painting, but you can probably also get away with picking a more transparent color or mixing transparent colors and diluting it to get to a similar, color. So it really depends on what kind of effect you want. The Scarlet Lake is also beautiful, I agree. Their Mineral Violet is really interesting and quite unique, I think. I don't think I've seen a similar color in any other range. They don't have a lot of quote-unquote fancy mixes in their basic range of colors, but I feel like that, is it Mineral Violet? I'm not sure I have the right name for it. So, yeah. Hold on. Ah. Mineral Violet. It has a bunch of stuff in it. Violets. Mineral Violet. So it is ultramarine blue, so PB29. It has PR 122 in it and PBR 25. I don't know if you can see, but it's this one here. It's really interesting, quite a unique color. Like I said, their indigo is also very specific to Holbein. The Mars Violet is also really cool. I think maybe the Mars Violet is the one with the PBR7. Yeah, it's PR 101, PV28, 28, PV23. So red iron oxide, dioxazine purple, and brown iron oxide. That's the Mars Violet, which is also a kind of unique color to Holbein. That's a bit like a caput mortuum kind of color. Their quinacridone gold is one of my favorites, but it's gonna have to change because of the limited availability of the pigment. And then they have a really beautiful, like, greenish yellow, olive green. Their sap green is also really nice, in my opinion. It's at the bottom here. So yeah, I think it is a really, really good range, and I can absolutely understand why artists in Japan usually start with Holbein paints, because they're so accessible and so affordable over there. And they deliver a good performance. Was a premix staining brown that was amazing. Staining. It's a bit difficult to know what you mean by neutral brown. I'm pretty sure there's got to be one out there. I cannot fathom. Or you could maybe mix your own. Like if you know of a mix of color that are transparent staining and give you the effect you want, you could mix them up and put them in a pan and have that on hand. The imidazzle brown is a bit red. And there's you gotta be careful on US Amazon though, because I don't know to which extent they might be selling fakes. I don't know to which extent fakes do exist, but it's something that I would keep in mind, because you have no like paper trail for the stuff on Amazon. Like you don't know who the supplier is, you don't know where they got the paints from. So just be mindful of that. Most browns that are more staining seem to be red-orange leaning. But that's the thing though. I understand what you mean, but technically brown is just a very muted orange. I would have to check possibly the brand who shall not be named. Which shall not be named? Anyway. Because, I mean, they have a lot of problems, but they do offer a pretty exhaustive range of pigments. So sometimes when I'm looking for a specific hue, I refer to the swatches of their dot cards that I have, just to give me a starting point or a reference point for a specific color that I want. Okay. Very last thing, I just want to look at the browns of, that brand. Because I'm curious. That's the thing, like sometimes my partner will say to me like, oh, you don't have to do this now, but I was wondering about this and that and the other and whatnot. And I'm like, you cannot say that to me. If you tell me about something, an inquiry, and even if you say it doesn't have to be now, if you start my brain in that direction, there's nothing that's gonna stop it. like brown type of color. So a very muted, darker brown. What is this one? You would need possibly a staining black, and I don't think we have any of these unless you mix it yourself, like from a transparent red, like a perylene red and a perylene green or something. Yeah, there's a lot of browns, but there's not a lot of like more muted ones. Very yellow, orange, red. And then you have like possibly 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that are a bit more muted. And I mean, I don't know about staining, but usually like brown iron oxides are not all that staining. So I think the only option would be possibly to mix it yourself and to have it be either you mix a transparent orange with a transparent blue to the level that there's still a bit of orange left in it, so it's not a black color but a slightly brown color, or to start with a mixed black from any two colors you want and then add a bit of a yellow orange in there to make it a bit brown. That would be what I would, try out. I hope zero definition paint, but I'm totally. If you're in the US, you don't really have any good reason not to have any, honestly. They're lovely paints, they're really affordable, so I would have a fair share of them if I was in the US. I'm not, so prohibitively expensive for me, but alright, so that will be it for today's stream. Thank you so much, guys, for being here today. I really appreciate it. I'm sorry if this was a bit of whatever, but with the nature of watercolor paintings that you have to let paint dry half the time, it's not always easy to figure out something to do during a live stream. So we did a bit of everything, I guess. But I hope you have a good rest of your week and a good weekend, and we will see each other possibly on Saturday or on the Discord. So until then, I hope you have a great time. Take care, take cake, very important, and see you soon. Bye-bye.